Hey, it's Mr. Sportel, and we are going to talk about how to add and subtract fractions today. So, there are two ways that we can add and subtract fractions. One when they have like denominators, and one when they have unlike denominators. So we'll start with like denominators. So let's take a look. We've got 3/8 plus 2/8. Now, when we are adding fractions that have like denominators, and these are the denominators, the numbers in the bottom, it is very, very, very simple. All you do is you add the numerators together. So, in this instance, it would be 3 plus 2, which will get you 5. You do not add the denominators together. Do not add them. So they just stay the same, so 8. 5/8. It's literally just that simple. So 3 plus 2 is 5, and then you are done. So if we want to take a look at a subtraction one with like denominators, 7/9 minus 5/9, again, you are just going to subtract the numerators. You do not touch the denominators at all. 7 minus 5 is 2. Denominators stay the same. 2/9. Very, very simple. Okay? So, where it gets a little bit more complex is when you have unlike denominators. So if we have a fraction like 1/3 plus 1/4, in order to add our fractions, our denominators have to be the same. So what we have to do is we have to find the least common denominator. The easiest way to do that is to create a t-chart, put your denominators in the t-chart, and then just run down the multiples of those denominators. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 8, 12. So we see that both of them have a common denominator of 12, and that is what we're going to go ahead and use. So now that we have found our common denominator of 12, what we need to ask ourselves is how can we get our denominators to equal 12? What I like to remind the students is that it's like anytime you change the denominator, it's kind of like a burger or a pancake. You don't want to cook one side of your burger or pancake longer than the other side. You want to cook it the exact same. Just like fractions. Whatever you do to the bottom, or the denominator, you have to do to the numerator as well. So, we know that we want our denominator to be 12. We can ask ourselves, what do I need to multiply my denominator by to get to 12? In this case, 4 times 3 will get you 12. Just like we multiplied the bottom, or the denominator, by 3, we also have to multiply the numerator by 3. So, when we multiply fractions, again, very simple, and I'll shoot a video for this that will explain it further, but you multiply the numerators by the numerators, and the denominators by the denominators. So our 1/4 is going to turn into 3/12. Okay, so that's taken care of there. We've got our new fraction, 3/12. Now we need to do the same thing to 1/3. So just like we did to 1/4, we need to ask ourselves, what do we need to do to get our denominator to be 12? Well, 4 times 3 is going to be 12, and just like my previous fraction, anything I do to my denominator, I have to do my numerator. So, 4 times 1. Again, just multiply our numerators by our numerators, denominators by our denominators, and we will get 4/12. So, 1/3 has turned into 4/12. And since we have like denominators, again, we just add our numerators, leave our denominators alone, and we will get our answer of 7/12. So let's try one subtraction one. We've got 2/3 minus 1/9. Now, in some cases, you will only have to change one of your denominators, because if we do the steps that we did in the last problem, 3 and 9, 9 times 1 is obviously 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 6, 9. There is our common denominator of 9. Now, I don't have to change this denominator because it's already the least common denominator, so I only have to change one of them. Again, I ask myself, what can I multiply my denominator by to get to my least common denominator, which is 9. We know that 3 times 3 will equal 9. Anything that we do to the denominator, we have to do the exact same thing to the numerator. So times 3. that is going to be 6/9. And then we rewrite it. 6/9 minus 1/9 is obviously 5/9, because we just have to subtract the numerators. Again, we don't touch the denominators. And that is how we add and subtract fractions with both like denominators and unlike denominators.